So I recently reviewed Friday the 13th, all 90 minutes of it. I hadn't planned on doing too many sequels this month, but I kept waiting for Jason to show up in the movie. All I got was a drowning kid in a flashback and a zombie kid in a dream. No hockey mask, and it's not spooky season without Jason Voorhees, the real Jason Voorhees. So to make things right, I gotta review the sequel. And then finally, we can put this whole mess behind us. Like the first movie, this one starts with the killer, but they've upgraded. Now we get not only POV shots, but also feet. We actually see the killer walking from basically a little below the knee on down to his shoes. And people thought they used up all their good material in the first movie. This mysterious killer finds a house. In that house is Alice, the main character from the first movie, having a nightmare of that movie, which serves as a nice recap. It reminds me of the sort of dreams I have when I'm working on one of my 8-hour timeline videos. I literally dream in recap. Glad to see I'm not the only one. Alice wakes up from her nightmare, fights with her mom on the phone. "Leave me alone. It's been 2 months since I survived Crystal Lake, and I'm trying to put my life together. This is the only way I know how. Wearing plaid jumpsuits." To be honest, I never would have noticed, but apparently that was Adrienne King's least favorite part of shooting this scene. In her interview for the Crystal Lake Memories book, a book chronicling the history of the franchise through a ton of interviews, she wondered if the wardrobe lady hated her, and that's why she made her wear this, whatever this thing is. Anyway, she finds Mrs. Voorhees' head in her fridge before Jason sticks an ice pick in her brain. There are a few moments of playing with audience expectations first. The camera approaches the shower while she's in there, so you think it's the killer, but no. Remember, it's not just POV in this movie. If you don't see feet, you're probably safe. She also gets a call at one point from no one, like the killer is stalking her. Jason can make phone calls? That's as shocking as in Aliens when we find out xenomorphs are smart enough to cut the power. Apparently, Jasons are smart enough to make phone calls. And I guess he tracked her all the way to wherever this is to avenge his mother. You gotta give the guy some credit. It's a shocking way to start a sequel, killing off the only survivor of the previous one, and it was effective enough it became a trend. It was also surprisingly brutal. Somehow worse than the last movie's hacking and slashing, this one feels more methodical and invasive. A sharp object right into the meat of her brain. Though I was surprised, because the basic pitch of this movie was let's do exactly the same stuff as before, but more. And I gotta say, this kill was over pretty fast and you barely saw anything. Apparently, the MPAA caught a lot of flack for how much gore ended up in the first movie, so the theory is that they overcorrected in part 2 and pushed back a lot harder. So nearly every kill in the movie is cut short, which is a little bit of a problem since so much of the appeal of the first one was the creative kills and the impressive effects that went with them. In this scene, for example, after the ice pick went through her temple, Alice was supposed to turn so you could see it poking out through her face. That footage was all lost for decades until Scream Factory's Blu-ray re-release in 2020. In their research, they found out the makeup effects artist Carl Fullerton, who took over for Tom Savini from the first movie, had the unedited death scenes on tape. Anyway, that stuff is all too violent for me to show without getting demonetized, but hey, this is just as good. Here's a picture of the tape, which had all the footage on it. If you're wondering why Savini stepped away after the first movie, it was largely due to creative differences. Namely, the first movie established that Jason Voorhees drowned as a little boy, and this movie has him running around killing people, and Tom Savini thought that was stupid. Sean Cunningham, producer and director of the first movie, also stepped away for similar reasons. He figured the Voorhees story was done, but thought the Friday the 13th title was so good, they could make more movies in the series, but turn it into an anthology, where each is a self-contained, unrelated, scary story. Similar to what John Carpenter wanted to do with the Halloween series, but studios like safe bets, and safe bets mean more of the same. With Alice dead, Friday the 13th flies into the screen, but no shattering glass. What the hell? I thought this movie was supposed to be the same, but more! Okay, there it is. 5 years later, Jeff and Sandra roll into town when they're spotted by Crazy Ralph. I love the look on his face. It's the same look Apollo had when Rocky stood back up in the 14th round. Ralph thought it was all over. The teens from last time were all killed, and now, but more of these idiots are coming? Anyway, Ralph tries his best again.
I told the others. They didn't believe me. You're all doomed.
Unfortunately, Ralph's best is, to be honest, pretty lacking. That's the problem with doomsayers. They're really bad at saying doom. They always sound crazy. I bet I would be a great doomsayer. Hey guys, look, I know this sounds crazy, but you're doomed. Doomed, I tell you! Okay, that did sound a little crazy. It's harder than I thought. While Jeff and Sandra call their buddy Ted, their pickup truck gets towed. They chase the truck all the way to Ted. Ah, you rascal, he had the pickup truck towed as a prank. Now, nothing left but to continue on to the camp counselor training course they signed up for. Located in Crystal Lake? No, that would be insane. Who would reopen the camp after the massacre 5 years ago? No, this training center is located at Packanack Lodge, which is right next to Crystal Lake. As they make their way to town, we get more of the shaky, is it POV camera shots? Though in general, the camera is more controlled in this one than in the first movie. Richard Fury, the second assistant director, said about part 2, we wanted it to be more polished, more professional. I do feel that, but honestly, I prefer the more rough, lower budget feel of the first one. It feels a little grittier, and that better suits the mood. From the woods, a POV shot. We see Jason's meaty paw move some leaves out of the way so he can better spy on the fresh meat strolling into town. At the lodge, Paul Holt, the one running the training center, calls his first meeting. Meanwhile, one stray counselor-to-be drives into town late. Crazy Ralph sees her, and again, his face screams, "What are these idiots doing? I'm supposed to be the crazy one, but nothing's crazier than setting up shop next to Crystal Lake. They're stealing my thing, and what will Crazy Ralph be then? Just Ralph? It doesn't have the same ring to it. I'll lose all the respect that I definitely have now." Soon, Ginny arrives at the training ground, and Paul is pissed. She's late, but how can he stay mad at her, his girlfriend? They kiss and make up. That night, Paul tells a tale around the campfire. He's going to give it to them straight about Jason. Legend has it that he didn't actually drown all those years ago. His body was never recovered. They say he's still out there, some sort of demented creature, full grown by now, surviving in the wilderness, stealing what he needs, living off wild animals and vegetation. Rumor has it he saw his mother beheaded and took revenge on the girl who did it. And now he continues to seek revenge on anyone who enters his wilderness again. Does anyone in the Voorhees family actually know what revenge means? It means killing the people who did you harm, not killing people who just happen to share the same profession. A couple of counselors let my son drown? All counselors must die. A counselor killed my mom? All counselors must die. The Voorheeses are just as bad at revenge as the Bluth family is at chicken impressions.
Has anyone in this family ever even seen a chicken?
Wait, I got the perfect thing!
Also, Jason has been alive all this time. How did his mom not know about him? Maybe he was so ashamed he didn't want her to find out he was still out there. Or he did die and Pamela Voorhees used the Necronomicon Ex Mortis to resurrect him as a deadite. They do find a copy of the book in the Voorhees basement in Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. And director Adam Marcus admitted it was exactly his intention to imply she resurrected him. Though he couldn't tell the studio because they didn't own Evil Dead, so he had to throw it in as an Easter egg and let us fans connect the dots. He and we put way more thought into this than anyone making Friday the 13th Part 2. No insult to them. Honestly, I think they knew what audiences wanted. It wasn't Jason lore. It was teenagers dying before or after getting naked. After the campfire tale, time for some hanging out, dancing, flirting, garroting, disrobing, kissing. Whoa. What did you just say? Oh, disrobing? No. The one before that. Oh, garroting. Yeah, Jason cuts Ralph's throat with barbed wire. Poor guy. This does feel like a more brutal movie in a lot of ways, because for the most part, the characters aren't characters. They're murder fodder. But Alice and Ralph achieved an elevated status through sheer repetition. They're the only ones from the last movie, so where most characters, you look at them and feel nothing, these characters, you look at them and you feel, I've seen them before. And then Jason kills them. Brutal. Cut to morning. While the counselor trainees go for a run, Muffin wanders off. Oh, look at her. If you're listening to this while doing the dishes and not looking at the screen, Muffin is a dog, if you haven't figured that out. A Shih Tzu, and she finds Jason. And did he just cook her? Why does it cut from the dog to hot dogs on the grill? No, just the filmmakers playing tricks on us. Even Jason wouldn't hurt poor Muffin. But her owner is worried. Where'd she get off to?
Muffin?
Terry, lunch!
Okay, I'm coming.
Okay, I guess not that worried. While the teens play at the lake, Sandra and Jeff wander off. She wants to see Crystal Lake. Jeff isn't so sure about this.
Oh, come on, you chicken shit.
And they're off. Past the no trespassing sign, and oh no, Jason is afoot. How do I know? Because the foot cam is back. Also, they find Muffin's mangled corpse. And what are you kids doing out here? The cop spots them and drags them back to Packanack. I love how Sandra and Jeff barely even consider telling Terry what happened to Muffin.
Should we tell Terry? About what we saw.
No way. As far as I'm concerned, we didn't see a thing.
Now, a lot of people would try to tell you Muffin didn't die because things get weird with the dream sequence at the end of the movie. They'll tell you the body they found is another dog that just happens to look like Muffin. I saw one guy on the internet claim it was a rabbit. I'm not going to show the image on screen, but people, what are we doing here? Jason killed Muffin. If you want to stand up for someone and defend them, they never hurt a dog, I would invest that energy in someone other than Jason Voorhees. While the cop drives along, he sees Jason running. That's what he looks like? He's got a sack over his head. That's awesome. But wait, no hockey mask. Did I get screwed again? Don't tell me I'm going to have to review part 3. The cop chases Jason. What, is it illegal to wear a sack over your head all of a sudden? How am I supposed to go out in public? Anyway, the cop can't quite keep up.
All right, what happened? Would you lose him?
He's a freak. He's the fastest kid alive.
This is not good.
He's the fastest kid alive.
The cop finds a shack where he gets an idea how Jason has been living all these years. He opens a door and sees something shocking. Oh my god. But we don't find out what he sees because foot cam. Jason kills him with a hammer to the back of the head. The pointy end. Halfway through the movie, this is the most entertaining part to me. One thing I've learned about myself on this channel is that I love lore. It doesn't matter what the lore is for or how half-baked it is. I just love to learn about made-up fictional worlds. And it's especially fun in slasher franchises. Because it's usually so contrived that there'd even be a sequel to begin with, it backs the writers into these corners where they have to come up with wild ways to keep the story going. 90% of the fun for me watching Friday the 13th or Halloween sequels is seeing what crazy stuff they come up with and just exploring it. Like in this scene, we see the toilet Jason has been using for 30 years. How awesome is that? That night, time to hit the town.
Beer time! Everybody get out for the beer! All right!
Okay, narrate what you're doing by shouting. If you're drinking beers, for instance, yell things like, beer time, let's get beers. Sorry, I'm trying to be more outgoing, so I've been taking notes whenever I watch movies on how normal people interact with each other. This is really helpful stuff. Unfortunately, they only have 2 cars, so some people will have to stay behind. That's fine by Terry because tonight, she's skinny dipping. Back at the cabin, Jeff and Sandra retire to the bedroom, leaving Vicky with her prey. She's been eyeing Mark all night. When Terry gets out of the water, someone has stolen her clothes. Oh, it's just Scott being a jerk as usual, though the grin is wiped off his stupid face when he steps in a snare and ends up dangling upside down. Terry agrees to find help if he agrees to knock off his nonsense. Except while she's gone, Jason cuts his throat. There is something more brutal about these clean, non-cartoonish kills. Like Jason isn't reveling in it, just methodically killing. Terry gets back to Scott, screams when she sees the blood, then turns around and screams again. We cut away, so I assume she did what they all do, stand there and let Jason stab her, which is why the snare trap is so redundant. At the bar in town, Ginny wonders.
What if there is a Jason?
I love phrasing it as a Jason. Like Jason isn't a person's name, but a thing you can be. Do you believe in ghosts? Aliens? How about Jasons?
My man.
She totally organically goes on a monologue, providing us insight into Jason's psychology.
I mean, what would he be like today? Some kind of out-of-control psychopath? A frightened
I forgot how long ago they made this movie. Fast forward.
And you know, the only person I'd ever known was his mother.
He never went to school, so never had any friends. She was everything to him.
I mean, I doubt Jason would have even known the meaning of death.
At least not until that night. He must have seen his mother killed, and all just because she loved him. Is that why she was killed?
Wait, isn't that what her revenge was all about? Her sense of loss? Her rage at what she thought happened? Her love for him?
She's making some great points. Somebody call Netflix. We need a true crime special. It's high time someone told Jason's side of the story. Right about now, Jason is watching Vicky change, getting ready for a hot impromptu date with Mark. Not if Jason can help it. He needs revenge. So he puts a machete in Mark's face, sending him and his wheelchair careening down the stairs. As a magic show, just showing off fun practical effects, this is probably the best one in the movie, at least the best one that got by the MPAA. Also, yeah, it continues the movie's brutality. Just a few minutes earlier, Mark was telling Vicky how all the doctors told him he's never going to walk again, but he intends on proving them wrong. They totally set him up to be a hero before machete to the face. And a fresh corpse on a wheelchair rolling down the stairs, you can tell they were just trying to be as shocking as possible, spitting in the face of good taste and upping the stakes from part one. Next, Jason comes for Jeff and Sandra, currently entangled on the bed. He decides to show his mom how it's done. She put one arrow through Kevin Bacon's neck. Puh! Child's play. He puts the spear through two people, turning them into a human shish kebab. This is the scene that probably most suffered under the MPAA, because they had to cut the entire effect. You don't see the spear go through them, you just see the bloody tip poke through under the bed. But in reality, they pulled off an impressive effect, similar to the one they did with Bacon in the first movie, where you have a fake body on the bed, only in this case two fake bodies, while the actors are under the bed, sticking their heads up through it, to create the illusion those heads are attached to the fake bodies. To make it look as realistic as possible, the guy's neck, head, and arms were poking up through the bed, so only the shoulder blades down had to be fake. Soon, Vicky is ready for her date. Hopefully she's open-minded. You know, not all guys have it all. Some have a lot of money, some don't. Some are funny, some aren't. Some are alive, and some aren't. But Mark is still a great guy. Just give him a chance. And Jason cuts her leg. Then Vicky gives up and stands there until he can stroll over and finish the job. By the time Paul and Ginny return from the bar, everyone is dead. The only evidence of what happened is a bloody mattress.
Paul, what's going on here?
Nothing.
Oh, thank God. I was worried for a second. And oh my God, Jason attacks Paul. And then they're like 5 feet in front of her, but she just can't see them all of a sudden.
Paul, answer me!
Are we really meant to believe she's moved precisely into the one position where that wooden beam completely obscures her vision of both of them tussling on the ground? No, that can't be it, because Jason pops out right in front of her, which means what? He was laying on the ground right by her feet, banking on the fact that she's looking perfectly straight ahead with no downward peripheral vision? Then Ginny does something crazy, maybe just crazy enough to work. Instead of just standing there and letting Jason kill her, it's crazy to even say it, she runs, evades a couple of attacks, finds Crazy Ralph's body, tries the car, it won't start. Jason almost gets into that car, she runs again. A lot of chasing, dodging, urinating. Jason falls off a chair. Oh yeah, while she's hiding under the bed. For some reason, Jason climbs on a chair and it breaks out from under him. I guess he wanted her to think he was gone so she'd come out from hiding. But why does he need her to come out from hiding? Does he think the bed is an impenetrable force field? I mean, not 20 minutes ago was the shish kebab scene, so he's perfectly aware that a mattress can be penetrated. Oh, the urine! Yeah, while she's hiding under the bed, she sees a rat, and she was scared before, but I guess that rat pushes her over the top. And no, it is not the rat peeing, as many believe. A, You see the rat scurry out from under the bed right before the puddle appears, clearly emanating from under the bed. B, the way it's cut, you see her close her eyes like she's straining a little right before. Exhibit C. In Crystal Lake Memories, the writer of the movie, Ron Kurz, talks about the collaboration between him and Phil Scuderi, one of the movie's investors. Phil would come up with all kinds of crazy ideas, and Ron would find a way to work them into the story. Quote, in part 2, the scene of Ginny urinating under the bed is his, as is the shish kebab scene where Sandra and Jeff get speared, and he goes on, but the point is made. Muffin is dead and Ginny urinated. I want no more debate on this. Once Ginny is out from under the bed and Jason is off the chair, she grabs a chainsaw, but damn it, the saw turns into a chair. I hate when that happens. Well, a chair is better than nothing. She hits him with it, knocking him out. Then she runs again and finds herself at Jason's shack. Okay, the one part that I found genuinely tense and where his head sack really works, while she's in the shack, through the little window, you suddenly see Jason running up, and the white sack makes him really stand out in the darkness. And the way they don't draw attention to it at first, they just let you notice it. Him frantically running toward the shack, and you know that door will barely slow him down. She barricades herself in the next room where she sees the thing that made the guard go, oh my God, earlier. A shrine to Jason's mom, with her rotting head in the middle of it. Beneath that, her sweater. When Jason starts breaking into the room, Ginny tries a dangerous gambit. She puts on Pamela Voorhees' sweater and pretends to be Jason's mom, then starts chastising him. Stop it, Jason. There's no way that'll open. Okay, it's working. He starts hallucinating his mom. A nice way to get Betsy Palmer back to reprise her role. But the spell is broken once Jason sees his mom's rotten head right where he left it. Jason cuts her leg, but Paul is back from whatever void he disappeared into behind that wooden beam in the cabin. While he wrestles Jason, she whacks the machete into Jason's shoulder, knocking him out again. They could finish the job or just take his mask off.
Jesus.
And leave. They head back to the cabin. He puts her on the bed, and they hear someone at the door. She arms herself with a pitchfork while Paul checks it out. Muffin is back, aw. And Jason crashes through the window and grabs Ginny. White flash. Ginny is getting wheeled into an ambulance and yelling, where's Paul? Cut to the shack. Slow zoom on Pamela Voorhees' head. The end. So the way this was originally written, Pamela's head was supposed to open her eyes and smile as a way of telling the audience, where's Paul? Paul is dead. But apparently when filmed, it looked more funny than scary. So instead, it just slow zooms on her head and nothing. In Crystal Lake Memories, Ron Kurz says, the smile tells us that Jason has killed Paul. That is how I wrote it, and that's how Steve Miner filmed it. Granted, as it appeared on screen, shot and edited as it was, I can see cause for some confusion, so whether it came across as such for the audience is up for debate. I love that phrasing. I can see cause for confusion. Oh, can you? A dead dog is alive again. Overly happy music is playing. Jason attacks, and we cut in the middle of the scene to a Ginny who somehow survived the attack but can't remember Paul dying right next to her. Not to mention the previous movie also ended with Jason jumping out and grabbing someone, and that was unambiguously a dream. I can't prove it, but my bet is that somewhere along the way, they realized the ending did not work as written. Not just the corpse head smiling, because let's be honest, it's not like that makes the ending unambiguous all of a sudden. Oh, she smiled, I get it, Paul's dead. I don't think it would have changed anything, honestly, other than making people think something supernatural is afoot. So when they realized how choppy and unclear the ending was, I bet they decided, let's just lean into the idea that it's another dream sequence, so they added Muffin and some happy music to emphasize the unreality of it. Part 3 starts with a recap of events, but the recap ends when Ginny hits Jason with the machete. No return to the cabin, and no Jason popping out a window. To me, that further emphasizes that stuff didn't happen, even if that contradicts the writer's original intent. In the end, it doesn't matter anyway. All that matters is that I reviewed Friday the 13th because I wanted to include this guy, an iconic slasher villain for Month of Terror, but he wasn't even in the first movie, so I reviewed another one, and he's in it but not really because he doesn't wear the hockey mask. The first movie partly got by on the fun of participating in the ritual. It's the Halloween season, so of course you gotta watch the classic slashers. But once you've scratched that itch, especially with 2, you realize how empty the movie is. The cast is all fine, but as characters, they have nothing to do. Just tread water until Jason finally shows up, then stand there and let him do his work. The movie would function better as a makeup effects highlight reel of fun kills. The effects are impressively done, including the Jason makeup at the end and breaking through the window. Apparently, it was a huge pain to pull off. They couldn't make it look right when he slams through the window, so they kept having to reshoot it. On one take, the actor Warrington Gillette slammed into the window pane, but it didn't break. So under all that makeup and stuff, there was blood and tears and other fluids, and he just had to keep going. Anyway, this might be it for me. I gave them 2 tries, barely got Jason, no hockey mask. Will I review part 3 this season? Highly doubtful. Month of Terror continues tomorrow with Friday the 13th, part 3.